facts from the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Fingers to the down, hold it.
Alright, YouTube, y'all keep making fun of my man boobs, so I'm gonna do this whole video curling 40s, okay? We could go slow. See, get it slow, but we got a lot to talk about, okay? There was Powell today. I have the full recap. We got 100. You see it says 40? I know they're gonna say it's fake. Yeah. Nah, I'm just playing with you, Chad. It's not that serious. I appreciate the jokes. You guys make me smile, but let's talk about the watch list. What happened today? What are we expecting tomorrow? And I kind of have good news, and then the rest of the week, but I want to talk about a secret catalyst. That's why I titled it, because I shared some things on stream today, and I really think people are missing this. It is a global macro indicator, and it is directly tied into the Fed. So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about Powell and all that. It was very simple, and then go over the plays and what we're looking at for the rest of the week. So drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And honestly, man, y'all got me really sentimental today. Just seriously, man, big shout out if you are on the stream every day, and just a lot of the people who supported early on, man. I mean, just like we wouldn't be here without the love and positivity, you know? So even then, I'm opening this up with jokes, man. I just hope you guys realize it is all love. That's what we're about. And I hope you guys are feeling a little bit better and ready to take on the market here. But hopefully we see you on stream. As far as what happened today now, let's talk about Powell and what happened. There was some data here in the market, and we actually opened up pretty good, but throughout the day we went up, and then Powell started speaking, and literally the market got clapped, and then right when he finished, the market went right back up. So that was what had people interesting, and really coming into tomorrow, I mean, here's the good news and bad news right now. Good news, we don't have much data for the rest of the week. So if this could continue, there's no real catalyst, assuming nothing gets clapped in Europe or what's going on there with Russia or China. Things should look good, and there's not going to be a catalyst that's going to get in the way. So that's the good part, but now we have to see what happens tomorrow, because Powell said a lot of things today. So I'm going to give you the recap, what everybody's talking about, as well as now even what I thought stood out the most. But we talked about this yesterday, and literally people are saying this was one of the most forceful and hawkish comments yet that we have got from Powell. Like we said, he is going to start sounding bullish. To me, it didn't really sound like that too much. Again, it sounded like what he was saying on Thursday. He's saying we're going to bring it back down to 2%. It's clear that we need to do something. You know, he was really attacking that. It was a very good interview if you missed it, but then this was one of the big factors. I think it's probably the most important. And like I'm saying, depending on how the market digests this tomorrow, this will be very key. But he said they would not hesitate to go past the neutral rate. So the neutral rate is where they have their policy set, where everybody on the Fed expects rates to be by the end of the year. And he's saying, even with all these rate hikes, with everything going on, he is so committed to inflation. You know, that's what Powell does. Just late. Okay, but still, he's so committed to it. He said that he would not hesitate to raise it beyond the neutral rate. So some people said that there wasn't anything new from the meeting. I have never heard him say this. I think it's important, and I think we got to wait for the digestion tomorrow. But that was the first thing. And then the next big thing, this one came right before the question, and literally both of these questions, this is what started the decline right here. It was a 1-2 punch. And then the other part that he came with, the questionnaire guy, or the interview guy, he asked him, he said, what made you pivot in 2018, or why wouldn't you pivot in 2018? Again, I've been showing you guys 2018, the repo crisis, and when Powell did the first taper tantrum, but like we've talked about, Powell pulled back, and the guy asked him, why wouldn't you do that this time? And Powell is just saying, the economy is so good, it's a lot different than what it was then. He does not see them raising or coming backwards anytime soon with the economy this good. So that's both good and bad, but that just means as long as the economy and data is good, that means Powell has room to be hawkish. So there was that. Those were the two most important things. He did talk about supply chain, and he said that's the biggest issue. He brought up China, and he was even saying how moving forward, you know, why was Powell late? Why did it take him? Why didn't he respond last year? That's what the interview guy asked him, and literally he was saying we didn't foresee the supply chain problems, but they said moving forward from here, they are going to be operating policy based on the assumption that the supply chains won't get fixed so that they could do everything in their power to reduce demand and reduce inflation. So he brought that up. He also had points on employment or unemployment and even the 2-year yields, but nothing too crazy. But those were the main things. We got the reaction, and even though we ended up, we were up most of the day. We were just barely higher than when the speech started. So like I'm saying, tomorrow is going to be the real key, or even towards the end of the week. But now, we don't have any economic data. There's no real meetings. We might get a couple of Fed speakers, but it is just not looking like an action-packed week anymore. So this may bode well for the markets because then it'll give us room to run here a little bit. But now we did have retail data today, and that was both good and bad. It was the same thing even with Walmart and Home Depot earnings. We saw the same good and bad thing, but the retail sales, that came in just slightly below, but above on the year over year, which was great, up 18% year over year. 0.9 on the month, but that is not inflation adjusted. So people were talking about it, and one thing we've been bringing up, the amount of credit usage by American citizens, consumers, it is actually hitting the biggest point ever. So this is both good and bad because one means people are spending money, but then what is the question Wall Street's asking? Is it sustainable? Believe me, you're not the only one with that question. The bankers are asking it too. So that is what we saw today. We got a little bit of the reaction, but now let me get into the secret catalyst. This is the absolute main thing with what we're dealing with, and this was the other piece of news today we got with China, but China is the secret catalyst. I mean, maybe it's a gray swan, but pretty much what I'm trying to say, the last couple days as we are correlating with this bounce, there's been like little moments here, little pieces of news, some data. It's been wishy-washy, but literally China has came back to back with 2 good pieces of news. And now why is this important? Remember what Powell said at the last meeting. He even brought it up here today, but he was saying it was a new addition to the FOMC. They said, well, if China gets out of hand, that could be an issue, and China and that policy will affect the Fed. So that's what I'm saying. It's been big over the last 2 days because today there was news that they want to start ending the tech crackdown. So China stocks ripped. JD, some of the China earnings, they did very, very good. And then the day before that, remember we had the news that they're coming out of lockdown. Oil was able to go up, but now this is something I would keep watch for, where over the next few days as our news is slow, I think we're going to get some of these catalysts underneath the surface, whether it's China, whether everything with Europe and Germany and how that's playing out, or anywhere else. But China is very important. It's connected to the Fed, and understand they are making moves right now. And that's why, I mean, maybe I'm a very early again, but just watch out for the next 3 to 6 months. You need to watch them because if they make a step, that very well may be the signal. So keep that in mind. That's the secret catalyst. As far as the plays and what we did today, there's actually a lot. Again, back to the earnings HD. We made a play. We hit 100%. I didn't mean to. I meant to go for the next week. I accidentally grabbed the weekly. I spent about $40 on like the 277 put here. Sold out at like 80 or 90 cents there. It went as high as like $1 something, but I wanted more time. The fact I got little time at that price, I think that's why it went up a lot. By the end of the day, it went down. But HD, they had good earnings on the nominal. So if you looked at their earnings and sales, it was like, wow, they beat by 11%. Sales are going up 11%. But even the company said on an inflation adjusted basis, they actually had a decline. So even though the stock opened up a couple percent today, it sold off. It was down a little bit. We talked about it on stream. If you go and see it, I'm like, this is kind of risky, but the data's kind of bad. Maybe it doesn't hold the continuation. I grabbed the put and we hit that. And then Walmart, absolutely bad earnings. They guided lower. They hit a 52-week low back to 2020 levels. And really, the market today was very, very green except for consumer staples. And that was the reason. But HD was the first play that I made. I will actually want to watch that for a follow-up. But now Target, that's tomorrow. Remember, we had that pre-earnings play. It got clapped. But here's the thing. We've seen this a couple times on an industry basis. One might miss. The other might do good. If Target does good and better than Walmart, I think it's going to be a massive ripper tomorrow. Otherwise, You already saw the pain Walmart went through today, so we will see what happens. But that's the first set of plays, or second, I don't know how to describe it. Again, the HD was just the first one we made, but there was that, and then the Boeings. This was another play I made. They had news, kind of sad, that plane crash in China a couple months ago, they were able to rule, or China Airlines was able to rule that it was an intentional nosedive. It's so sad, man. But that means that Boeing doesn't really have the same liability and concerns from it. So that started to go up. I bought another $15 call. Which one did I think? Yeah, I think it was a 145 call, May 20th. Again, another weekly. It's early in the week, but I'm keeping this small. I literally spent another $15. I spent 13 cents for the first one, 18 for that. I'm in $28 for a weekly both way. 28 bucks. It's an expensive meal. It is, but we'll see how it plays out. But there was that, and now that I got over those plays, what am I going to be looking at tomorrow? Very simple. Banks. Oh, I forgot. I did make a city too. Again, the Buffett news, banks. Again, and even with that consumer retail data and showing their willingness to spend, that was good. We grabbed the city. June calls, they went up almost 100%, but I am going to be looking at banks tomorrow. I think that could be a very good one. And then I'm also going to look at Coinbase again. Remember, we made the play yesterday. Stock went up 15% today. The play went down. And this is because the options skew right now pretty much out of the money calls are more expensive than out of the money puts in a weird way right now. Pretty much the spreads are very high, and that is kind of dangerous. I think that could be the reason why, but I like it. They're moving up a little bit after hours. We'll see if crypto gets stability. And finally, the last play I'm gonna watch tomorrow. Excuse me, I may want to grab some, but what I'm looking for, we'll see by the end of the week. But now it's on watch again, the EWG. So go look at the October chain, and now the options are finally starting to go below the very lows when they first got washed out a little bit. Again, off of the first little pop and drop. So I'm hoping those go lower. Now we could average down with the premiums cheaper than ever. We could get more time. That's the good thing. And people are asking, why do I like this play? I mean, just look at wheat. Look at how things have played out. Even look at oil. Again, on a week-by-week basis, things might be slow. Again, it's been a pretty epic 6 weeks on the downside. We saw how they scammed on the option chain, but here's the key. Europe is still worse. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. The German energy situation, it has not gone better. So the same play is in motion. It's gotten worse, and now the plays are cheaper. More time. We're learning a little bit from it. I'm going to be watching those, but we will see what happens. But as far as everything else, that was pretty much it. I did make another VXX. I did like a $10 or a $15 call play. Remember, this was an ETN that broke, and they started going crazy. So watch out for that. I will see what happens. That one was just, let's see what happens with all the craziness in the market. But there was that, and then finally tomorrow, just keep your eye on Nvidia and AMD. But Nvidia, they're going to be having that earnings here in a couple of days. It may get a little bit of steam depending on the market. So we will see what happens. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate, healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember, you gotta stay in your element. Do what you are gonna do regardless of the consequences, baby. That means you should be disciplined no matter what, baby. But I hope you really guys enjoy. I hope you really enjoyed the Philo, man. It was awesome. Today was fun. Emotions are kind of chilling out. Again, Chad, I love you. Thank you for everything, especially my positive people out there. And let's go and see where this week's takes us. And just get ready and stay nimble. I love you, okay? Drink water. No yellow pee, man. I'm serious. No yellow. This is such a weird ending. I know. I love you.